Good morning, or good afternoon. I guess it's still morning. Hi, you guys. So it's Saturday, and I'm in Squamish, at my daughter and her husband's place, and hanging out with the grandkids. So just taking a couple of minutes to check in with you and do my reading and a quick meditation. So hopefully you can join me for a few minutes. Yeah, so um, just a quick chat and a reading of the 24-hour day book and a short meditation. Let's do that together. Well, it won't take too long. Okay. It's interesting. I think I like that if people ask questions. And I had a fellow last night write, because I speak about the story, how we're caught in our story of our life. We imagine that we're who we think we are, and a lot of us, the story we have of ourselves is a story of not good enough and not smart enough, and a lot of us imagine ourselves, even if not consciously, we have a story of unlovable or unworthy, and so I speak of it often that it isn't true. It's just the story of the persona, and that there's a possibility to live in the moment, and in the moment we experience oneness, we experience totalness, we experience isness, we experience that which can't be described, and as a result of that, living in the now, letting go of the story, even if not consciously letting go of the story, we're lifted up into unconditional love, and his question was, what if that's a story? And good question, what if that's a story? And how do I answer that? There isn't any. Hi, Shane, Deanne, wise dragon. So what if that's a story? And I started to sit down this morning to write a little bit about that for this talk. And so what if, we begin to realize that we are not our story, and we begin to surrender our story, begin to let it go. And as a result of that, we move into a place of consciousness, a place of peace, a place of serenity. What if we move into serenity? What if we move into peace? What if we move into unconditional love? And we find out that there is no no idea of a God. We find that there's this God idea is we're already in it, and that there is no right or wrong or good or bad. We are it, and it's only our thinking that made it seem like things were right or wrong or good or bad. And so, stuck in that judgment, we were, many of us, in turmoil, and many of us in fear, many of us in anger and resentment. So what if it is a story? What if the story just points towards this peace, and we find this peace, and the story drops away because we found the peace. We found the thing that can't be described. What if we found the ultimate witness? When we do our meditation, I talk about watching the thoughts, becoming the witness of our mind, and I hear from many of you that that's like, of course, you see that, yes, you can be the witness of the mind, and then who's witnessing the witness, and the ultimate witness, that we move to this awareness, and as we move back and back and back into watching the watcher, and So what if that is a story? What if the whole idea of a witness and a witness is a story? And as we move into it, we're lifted up, and we're lifted out of what most of us are very aware of, which is, a lot of my life I lived in this not good enough. That's the only way I can say it, and trying to prove myself, the persona, and so some of you will relate to that and have had enough. That's who I'm talking to. You've had enough. You said, you know what, I don't want to live there. Where is there some other way to be here? Enjoy and have an amazing life without living in the fear or living in the judgment or living separately, Because I want you to know is if we continue to live that way, and this is not a threat, it's just what I've seen is that we separate ourselves more and more and more. We make our life a small package, and if we continue to live that way in judgment, in fear, and anger, and complaint, So if you're around with people and they're in judgment, fear, anger, complaint, they're not happy. They're not fulfilled. They may have a bullshit story about all of the stuff they have or all the achievements they've made. But stuff and achievements doesn't do it. It's outside. Where the true peace comes from is this connecting with or realizing who we are. And so that's the deal. There is no next. There is no, if I get this, I got that. It's just we become aware of who we are. We're already that. Does that make sense? I don't know. Anyway, I'm kind of, struggle a little bit sometimes in explaining it or sharing it, but we already are that. And when we look in the 12 steps, I often talk about them because it talks about the promises. It says we'll know peace. We'll understand the word serenity. We'll intuitively know how to deal with situations that used to baffle us. That's God consciousness. We'll lose fear of people and economic insecurity. We'll know. We'll realize that we become conscious of, or have a God consciousness. We become, because it's hard to describe. We use the word God, but God is how you see it, how you experience it. It isn't. There isn't some. There's no doctrine or dogma around this in the 12-step world, or with most of the teachers. As you drop away from the idea of who you think you are and all the trappings of life, that what's there is this unbelievable, unknowable emptiness. But it's not an emptiness. It's very full. It's not full of what what we imagine. So don't imagine. Just be there. And so how do we get there? How do we live in the moment? We live in the moment. We practice. We practice surrender. We practice presence, and we don't attach to the story. We don't attach to our fears when they come up. We don't attach to judgment. I don't spend time with folks complaining or talking about how things should be. How things are is beautiful. Life on life's terms. So if something happens, my car breaks down, it's not no judgment. It's just, car broke down. There's mind not screaming to make meaning of it. Oh, Jesus, this happened and that happened. That was so, and trying to find fault or make blame. So we're free of that, and we become free. It's like, car broke down. Wow, I wonder where that's going. There is just a fact. Life becomes an adventure. How about living an adventure? Wow. Out the window in my daughter's home here, I see the Chief. We're in Squamish, and the Chief is this amazing mountain right here. And it's beautiful to be, you know, in the shadow of the chief. Okay, that's it. Life happens. It's beautiful. Okay, I'm reading. I don't even know what day it is again. What day is it? I should find the calendar. I think it's like the 28th, isn't it? It is Saturday the 28th. Yes. So we're going to read this from this little book that I've been reading from for quite a while, since the 1st of May, and it's been good for me. And it's interesting because sometimes, you know, I read his little thing and I'm like, you know, because he's a bit in the dualistic world, but sometimes he's so bang on. He really is. November 28th, thought for the day. The 12-step way, or the AA way, is the way of sobriety. AA is known everywhere as a method that has been successful with alcoholics. Doctors, psychiatrists, and clergymen have had some success. Some men and women have got sober all by themselves. We believe that AA is the most successful and happiest way to sobriety. And yet AA is, of course, not wholly successful. Some are unable to achieve sobriety, and some slip back into alcoholism after they have some measure of sobriety. Am I deeply grateful to have found AA? Meditation for the day. Gratitude to God is the theme of Thanksgiving Day. The pilgrims gathered to give thanks to God for their harvest, which was pitifully small. When we look around at all the things we have today, how can we help being grateful to God? Our families, our homes, our friends, our AA fellowship, all these things are free gifts of God to us. But for the grace of God, we would not have them. Yes. And, you know, what shifted for me is that that's true with everything. But for the grace of God, everything. It's all, you know, consciousness. It's all the same. I mean, not always am I there, but you know, it's like, wow, I'm so grateful that I realized that there is no separation. And there you go. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may be grateful today. I pray that I may not forget where I might be, but for the grace of God. That's right. That's right. Even discovering the grace of God is the grace of God. You know, pretty cool, eh? So we're going to meditate for a few minutes. Hopefully I can kind of get comfortable here in this little room in my daughter's place. It's almost like laying down. I don't really want to lay down. That's better. So let's do this, maybe 10 minutes. And if you can find a comfortable spot, and just, find a comfortable spot. Close your eyes. You know, no matter what's going on around, whatever sounds are happening, just include them. Just include them. We can, you know, as we do this more often, we realize that we can do this anywhere. We can just drop in with the breath into the moment. Boom. And as we increasingly come to this spot, this doorway into the open field, into the openness, into the expanded space, as we continue to do this, it becomes a familiar space. It becomes a place that we want to go. Not to run away, not to hide out, but to experience us in this moment. And eventually it just becomes who we are, living from this spot, from this place of oneness. And life flows, and we're in the flow of life. The thing that never changes is this place. People come and go. Jobs come and go. Houses, pets, all things come and go. But this place is solid. It's always here. And it's deep down inside of us. It can't be found outside. Although it's everywhere. It is everything. So being in the moment we can access this in meditation, just dropping in with the breath. When thoughts come up, just watch them. Many times people say, oh, my mind's too busy, I can't meditate. Just watch it. Just watch it. And mind may resist. Mind may resist. Mind likes being in control. And as we drop into this space, as we surrender, as we let go of our thoughts, as we watch them as the observer, as we stop being attached to them, as we stop identifying with them, they lose their power. They lose their power. Often we're so identified with I am sick, or I am healthy, or I am successful, or I am a failure, or I am good, or I am bad. And so we're attached to those identities. I am a man, I am a woman. And that attachment keeps us in the illusion, keeps us away from the moment. So surrender attachment. When thoughts come, just let them go for now. You can pick them up later. Just let them go. Just come back when you're ready, gently. Be kind to yourself and realizing that we've been living our life from our beliefs, from our conditioned ideas, and that we're going forward, going to live our life from the moment, from intuition, from inspiration. We'll be on a need-to-know basis. It's beautiful. Freedom. It's there for any of us that want it. Thank you. Feel free to call anytime. Just want to chat or text or leave a message. And I'd love it if you'd subscribe on YouTube to our channel, Battling Beyond Project Awakening. Okay. Love you lots, you guys. Thanks so much.